Namaste Beautiful Yogis. This is a quick explanation on tucking the tailbone during a back bend. Let's start with Camel. First of all, you have to make sure your knees are about hip width apart. Please learn to know where your body is in space rather than measuring distance in your body. It's much better for your future practice for you to understand your body and your body in space. So we're gonna have our knees about hip width apart, and if we're not tucking the tailbone under, we are just gonna crank back into the lower back and stay here. That is gonna be damaging to your lower back. And also, you don't want to move your hips back with you. You don't want to go back, bend backwards, and just your hips are following with you. You want to come into Camel. Here you can lift your heels off the floor so that actually they're a little closer, or you can have your hands on your lower back, work your elbows in, and have your fingers, if possible, pointing up. If you don't have the flexibility for that, you can have your fingers pointing out. So from here, I'm going to extend my tailbone down. How it feels with the hands is I'm just going to press the hands down. Basically, I'm gliding down the flesh on my butt and extending the tailbone down. So basically, I'm tucking the pelvis under. From here, I'm going to make sure that my lower back is lifting away from my fingertips. So there is a little bit of a lift and opening. Try to think you're going up with your heart rather than your goal is to go back. That way you know to create expansion and openness before you create a deep back bend. And from here, I'm just going to keep my hips above my knees and just press from here and go as far as I can, feeling extension throughout my entire back. Now, if I open my knees out and bring my feet together, I can go a lot deeper because I'm cheating. I'm compressing my tailbone and my lower back, and overall, you're not extending the life of your practice and making your body healthy. You're finding shortcuts that, all in all, are at worst damaging. If they don't cause any problems for you, it's just poor alignment. If we are in wheel pose, tucking the tailbone under, I'll show you how it looks. So I'm gonna come up, same thing, feet are pointing forward, knees hip width apart. If I'm not tucking my tailbone under, there is a little more tilt in my lower back. When I tuck it, I'm basically taking my hip flexor and pressing them up. And in this case, I'm extending the tailbone down in the direction of the knees. In a standing back bend, it's probably the easiest to explain. Feet are hip width apart, pointing directly forward. You don't want to open your feet ever. In my classes, 90% of people, even if I say have your feet pointing forward, when I look at the room, everybody's pointing outwards. So make sure to be your own teacher and to watch out for your feet, especially in back bends. Have your feet pointing directly forward. That actually means they're slightly in, so the outer edges of the feet are actually parallel to each other, so the big toes are just slightly inward. So from here, if I'm not tucking the tailbone under, I'm just gonna go back, and I will feel it in my lower back tomorrow or tonight. Here, I want to protect my lower back. Again, walking the hands in, elbows in to open the shoulders. Press the tailbone down, just like that. So here, I'm already connecting with my core and protecting my lower back. The core is active. If I pop my butt out, this stretches my belly, the core is inactive, the abdominal wall is stretched and it's not firing, it's not connecting. When you extend the tailbone down, you're establishing core connection. From here, you're establishing elongation in the lower back, so the back bend is not just in the lower back, but it goes through the mid back and through the upper back. Most of us have more stiff upper backs and a little more curve in the lower back, so it's easier to put the entire back bend in the lower back. But here we're working on opening the chest. Back bends are essentially heart openers. So we're working on opening the chest and lifting up. I'm extending my tailbone down, connecting with my core, my legs are working, and I'm lifting. The lower back is lifting away from my fingertips. So there is a lifting action going all the way in the mid back. And from here, you can see how I'm connecting with my core and tucking my tailbone under. Beginners often ask me, tucking my tailbone under, does it mean squeezing my butt cheeks together? Not necessarily, but it's really helpful for a beginner to actually think that way, so that you kind of are starting to get the impression of where the tucking the tailbone under is taking place. Let me know if you have any questions. Any more questions about tucking the tailbone, because this is probably one of the most important alignment points in what we've been working on in my classes lately. So if you have questions, please feel free to post them below, and I'll try to answer each and every question. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Come on, baby.